We now shift our attention to the Taiwan Strait, where both America and China are flexing their naval might. Earlier today, China ramped up military operations near Taiwan, deploying warships and fighter jets for what it termed as combat readiness patrols and training exercises. The move showcased in China's state broadcaster showed Chinese naval vessels maneuvering at sea while the Chinese warplanes roared into the sky. A clear message of deterrence aimed at Taiwan and its allies. This show of force follows the passage of two U.S. Navy vessels through the Taiwan Strait earlier this week, the first such maneuver since U.S. President Donald Trump took office last month. China called the transit a provocation that heightened security risks. The Chinese Foreign Ministry dismissed the U.S. naval mission as an excuse to undermine China's security under the pretext of freedom of navigation.
The Eastern Theater Command of the Chinese People's Liberation Army has already responded, and I would like to emphasize that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and that the question of Taiwan is not a matter of freedom of navigation, but a matter of China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. China firmly opposes any country provoking and threatening China's sovereignty and security in the name of freedom of navigation.
China's military says it tracked the movements of the U.S. warships, specifically a naval destroyer and a survey ship, as they moved through the Taiwan Strait between Monday and Wednesday. The PLA's Eastern Theater Command accused Washington of sending, and I'm quoting here, wrong signals to Taiwan and warned that such actions only escalates regional tensions. According to reports, the U.S. carries out such navigation operations along the Taiwan Strait on a daily basis, sometimes joined by allied forces as well. But this was the first such exercise since Trump returned to the White House. The strategic 180-kilometer wide Taiwan Strait is a crucial global shipping lane. China insists it falls under its jurisdiction, contradicting global maritime law, which limits territorial waters to 22 kilometers from a nation's coastline. Meanwhile, Taiwan remains on a high alert, its defense ministry closely monitoring China's military movements and assured the public that the situation remained stable and under control right now. While these maritime standoffs continue, Taiwan is also taking steps to strengthen its defenses. Taipei has secured a $761 million weapons deal with Washington, purchasing 3 national advanced surface-to-air missile systems. These missile systems will reportedly enhance Taiwan's ability to defend itself against a potential Chinese invasion or a Chinese assault. Meanwhile, Chinese scientists claim to have made a breakthrough in infrared detection technology that could expose a major weakness in U.S. stealth aircraft. Well, according to Chinese researchers, an airship equipped with advanced infrared detection could identify stealth fighters like America's F-35 at distances of nearly 2,000 kilometers, which could give China a major advantage in countering U.S. military operations in the region, and aligns with China's broader strategy of manufacturing arsenal designed to keep U.S. forces at bay in the event of a conflict. According to reports, in simulated combat scenarios, Chinese researchers analyzed the infrared signatures of F-35 jets, specifically in engagements involving Taiwan. The findings reportedly suggest that American stealth technology, long considered an edge in modern warfare, may not be as indestructible as previously thought. So the military maneuvers by China and the U.S., Taiwan's growing defense partnerships with the U.S. and emerging advancements in military technology, they all point to tensions in the Taiwan Strait only growing further. A girl from India's Jammu and Kashmir has made her mark in the Guinness Book of Records. Well, we are talking about teenager Rutba Shaukat. She has managed to break world record for making most origami paper boats in 1 hour. Shaukat, an athlete, took to art during the COVID-19 pandemic, and since then she wanted to make a world record. Rutba has set a new record in the art of paper folding by making 250 origami paper boats in 1 hour. Rutba had applied for this world record twice before, but could not achieve the goal in her previous attempts. And in her third attempt, she managed to achieve the feat and broke the previous record as well.
I read about the Guinness Book of Records and I researched and applied. I did my research and read about the origami paper art, and there was a boy who had made 150 paper boats in an hour, and that's where I started and broke this record by making 250 in an hour.
Rutba has won over 50 medals in state and national level championships, including many awards for martial arts. Rutba has also featured in the India Book of Records. Getting listed in the prestigious Guinness Book of World Records is a dream come true for her. She hopes that her achievement will inspire Kashmiri girls to break all the barriers and create a name for themselves. Idris Loan has more on this.
Rutba's story is a great example of where there is a will, there is a way. After 2 failed attempts, Rutba finally achieved her dream and made her mark in the Guinness Book of World Records. And now she's also become an inspiration for thousands of Kashmiri girls. With video journalist Feroz, Idris Loan for WION World is One.
Our top story tonight on Gravitas is about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to France. A visit packed with history, diplomacy and futuristic collaborations. And also an unmistakable camaraderie between Prime Minister Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron. Earlier today, Prime Minister Modi and Macron paid tribute to Indian soldiers who fought in World War I. They stood side by side at the Mazagoya War Cemetery in Marseille, a historic site where many Indian soldiers rest. Against a backdrop of towering white gravestones, Prime Minister Modi placed a wreath adorned with tricolour-themed flowers, a powerful image of India's gratitude. Prime Minister Modi also took a moment to thank the people of Marseille for their role in India's freedom struggle, recalling Veer Savarkar's dramatic escape attempt during British rule. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi wrote, "In India's quest for freedom, this city holds special significance. It was here that the great Veer Savarkar attempted a courageous escape. I also want to thank the people of Marseille and the French activists of that time who demanded that he should not be handed over to British custody. The bravery of Veer Savarkar continues to inspire generations to come." Unquote. But this visit of Prime Minister Modi was not just about looking back, it was also about shaping the future, a new chapter in diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi and Macron also inaugurated the Indian consulate in Marseille, India's second diplomatic mission in France, strengthening India's growing footprint in Europe and signaling deeper Indo-French engagement. The two leaders, standing shoulder to shoulder, waved to the cheering crowd as well. Well, from diplomacy, the focus shifted to cutting-edge technology. Prime Minister Modi and Macron toured the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor Facilities, a global project pushing the boundaries of nuclear fusion. In a landmark move, both nations signed an agreement to collaborate on advanced and small modular nuclear reactors. And this partnership could reportedly be a game changer for clean energy, reducing reliance on fossil fuels. Meanwhile, in Paris, the Franco-Indian Economic Forum witnessed a major push for economic cooperation. Addressing top business leaders, both Prime Minister Modi and Macron made compelling cases for stronger trade ties, underscoring the need for Europe to reduce dependence on US and China. While Prime Minister Modi also urged French investors to tap into India's massive market.
जब फ्रांस की फिनेस और भारत का स्केल मिलेगा जब भारत का पेस और फ्रांस का प्रिसिजन मिलेगा, जब फ्रांस की टेक्नोलॉजी और भारत का टैलेंट मिलेगा, तो सिर्फ बिजनेस लैंडस्केप ही नहीं, ग्लोबल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा।
These words did not just highlight India's ambitions, they also underscored the strategic depth of Indo-French ties. Prime Minister Modi, who also co-chaired the Artificial Intelligence Summit in Paris alongside Macron, said that India would be happy to host the next AI summit. And Macron's office quickly confirmed that India will indeed take the lead in the next edition of this summit. The summit concluded with a joint declaration emphasizing the need for AI to be ethical, transparent and inclusive. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi also pointed out at a flaw in AI algorithms with a simple experiment, stating that if you ask AI to draw someone writing with their left hand, and you will likely get an image of a right-handed person. If you're wondering why, because AI is trained on data dominated by right-handed examples. This seemingly small glitch reveals a larger issue. That's bias in AI. On the sidelines of the AI summit, Prime Minister Modi also met US Vice President J.D. Vance. The discussions revolved around energy security, with the US exploring ways to help India diversify its energy sources through American nuclear technology investments. This meeting came just hours before Prime Minister Modi's next big move, and that is his visit to the United States of America. Trade, investment and technology will be on top of the agenda when he lands in Washington, D.C. Now, this is not just historical, it is also a deeply personal, reinforcing the cultural and emotional bond between India and France. We are talking about Prime Minister Modi's tribute to Veer Savarkar. Well, from honoring fallen soldiers to pushing AI boundaries, from nuclear deals to economic partnerships, Prime Minister Modi's visit had it all. Beyond the official announcements, one thing was also clear, that the Modi-Macron bond is stronger than ever.